this will now be 2 consecutive games where, I was planning on coming on the podcast and telling you guys about all the good stuff that happened and talk about, a win or a possible win. And something at the end of the game of the Clippers game ruined that. And something at the beginning of this Pistons game ruined it again. Because we're probably looking at Killian Hayes being suspended for a while after he possibly knocked out Mo Wagner. We're going to talk about that in today's episode of Locked On Pistons podcast.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I'm your host, Kuka Hill. You can find me over on Twitter at Kuka Hill. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. And if you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you are listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. So, look, like I said in the cold open, man. After the Clippers game, when the Pistons blew that lead, I came on the podcast and said, look, they did so many good things in that game. First 45 minutes were so good. I wanted to come on the podcast and talk about it, but the last 3 minutes just ruined it. And I could not come on the podcast and talk positive after having that kind of historic loss. Even though the Knicks did the Pistons a favor by losing in an even more improbable fashion. Not everyone forgot about the Pistons. So thank you, New York, for taking that kind of stuff off of us over here. But now you got another time. Because the next game after the Clippers game, the Pistons came out and punched Orlando in the mouth and kept punching. And actually, you know what? I didn't even realize how that actually makes sense with what we're about to talk about. I didn't mean to do that. But no, seriously, the Pistons as a team punched Orlando in the mouth and dominated this game. Especially after how they lost that last game. You love to see that. You love to see them come out and get a convincing win and really completely focus on the task at hand and wanting to respond. I would love to talk about that. But as you've probably seen, the national media is nonstop talking about this. It's been all over my Twitter feed. It's already on YouTube. I've already seen ESPN talk about it. There was a quote-unquote brawl in Detroit during this game. There was no brawl. Before I even talk about the incident itself, I just want to talk about how, you guys might as well get ready for all the ignorance that's about to come Detroit's way. Anytime there's any kind of scuffle or anything that goes on with Detroit, it immediately gets elevated about 20 notches, and you're going to start getting a bunch of ignorant statements. Just get ready for it. It's doomed to happen simply because of Detroit, and I think we all know where some of the hidden motives or hidden agendas come with that. It's quite annoying because the fact that Yahoo Sports called this a brawl is wild. There was no brawl. So if you happen to miss this game, in the second quarter, Killian Hayes knocked the ball loose, went to the backcourt. He was chasing after the ball. Mo Wagner, his brother, basically Steve Nashed Killian Hayes and pushed him out of bounds into the Pistons bench, and Killian went into the bench, basically almost went over the bench pretty hard. He was very frustrated, very mad. The entire Pistons bench got up. Wagner kind of stood there. He got pushed in the back apparently by Diallo. And then Killian Hayes, who was the most emotional I have ever seen him. I've never seen him this mad before in my life. Came up behind him, and it looked like he was trying to push him in the back, but he got him in the back of the head. Mo Wagner might have flopped a little bit and made it look like he got knocked out. But if he actually did get... Killian Hayes might have knocked out Mo Wagner. I can't tell if he actually did or if Wagner was just sitting there. But Killian hit him in the back of the head with the forearm, trying to push him, and he got suspended for it. Not suspended. He got ejected. So did Mo Wagner. Mo Wagner also got ejected. Hamidou Diallo also got ejected. So 3 guys gone right there. And then I'm going to assume by the time this podcast goes up and by the time you guys listen to it, you guys are probably going to get a tweet from Woj, Sham, somebody talking about the amount of Orlando Magic players that will be suspended because damn near the entire Orlando Magic bench left. They left their bench. It came all the way down to the Pistons bench, and that right there is a big no-no. That's automatic suspension. So you're probably going to hear about at least 6 Magic players getting suspensions, legit. Their whole bench cleared out. So, look, I saw all the reactions from Pistons fans. I saw the reactions from all you guys. And you guys loved it. I know that That's the kind of thing Detroit fans love. They love it. That's Detroit kind of personality. That's what that's what people attach to Detroit. That's what a lot of Detroit fans, rock with. Just don't take nothing. You mess with us, you better you better be ready for what's going to come back at you. Stand up for yourself. Somewhat dirty. That's just that's what Detroit Pistons fans like. That's just what they love. And I knew as soon as it happened, Pistons fans were going to absolutely love it. And I'd be sitting here lying if a part of me didn't love seeing Killian Hayes stand up for himself, especially for a dude who has been talked about throughout his career. Maybe not so much the last 2 months or so, but throughout his career, he doesn't have any confidence. He doesn't have that dog in him, all that stuff. To see him react like that, part of me, yes, was like, the fan in me was like, yes, see, he does have that dog in him. He stood up for himself. If you mess with him, this is what you're going to get. Like this, part of me did say that. But the logical person in me is very disappointed. I can't lie to you. I'm pretty disappointed because he's going to be suspended. He 100% is going to be suspended. Now, how long? Who knows? At first, I thought he'd be gone for 5 games. But then I started looking at some of the other suspensions that have happened. LeBron got 1 game for punching Stu in the face and blooding him up. 1 game. Jokic basically ended Markieff Morris' season last year by pushing him in the back. Blindsided. Way more dangerous, I feel like, than what Killian did. Basically sidelined Markieff Morris. I believe Markieff Morris might have actually missed the whole season, and he only got 1 game. And then Stu got 2 games for going to complete WWE, bulldozing everybody on the court and continually trying to go after LeBron James. That was a bad look for the NBA, and he only got 2 games. So if Killian Hayes gets more than 2 games, if he gets more than 2 games for simply reacting to getting Steve Nashed by Mo Wagner, who, by the way, was already doing some other dirty stuff throughout that game. He was already on some dirt. If he gets more than 2 games for simply responding and defending himself and reacting to something that was done to him, it wasn't like look, I know people are saying he punched somebody. He didn't punch nobody. I think it's clear as day what, he was probably he was trying to push him in the back, and he hit him in the back of the head. He went too high with it. But he didn't punch him. He hit him with the forearm in the back of the head. It's not good. It's not a good decision to do. It's definitely dangerous. You can't do it. Okay, I'm not excusing it. You can't do it. But if Jokic can basically end Markieff Morris' season and get 1 game, if LeBron can punch Stu in the face and get 1, if Stu can do what he did and gets 2, and then I believe I saw someone on Twitter let me know that Serge Ibaka choked Marquise Chris and punched him and only got 2 games. Now, if all of that was not worth more than 2 games, if Killian Hayes gets more than 2 games for this, I don't think Killian Hayes, this incident was as bad as some of those other ones. Definitely not the LeBron and Stu situation. It wasn't as crazy as that. Choking a dude and punching him, it wasn't as bad as that. I almost would argue that it wasn't as bad as what Jokic did to Morris, seeming that Morris missed damn near his whole season after that because of it. So again, look, if I don't support it. I'm not happy that Killian did it because, look, the fan in me, the Detroit fan in me was like, cool, like to see him stand by, all that stuff. But like, look, Killian Hayes, I saw this tweet sent at me. Killian Hayes' last 10 games, 16.2 points, 8.5 assists, and 4.0 rebounds. He is playing. I told you this stretch was coming. I told you guys this stretch was coming. And he was playing so well, man. So well. He was playing so well. And now he's going to miss some games, and that's tough. It sucks. I don't want you don't want him missing games when he's playing this well and playing how he was. It sucks. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but with that way he's been playing, you don't want him missing games. And he might miss a lot of games because he's not a star. He's not going to get the benefit of the doubt from the league. The league's not going to take it easy on him. I think it could be a pretty bad punishment coming to Killian Hayes. And, I'm not going to blame anyone else but Killian. He did it. But, like, you think that, like, I saw somebody say, like, the Orlando Magic get back guy, the guy that holds everyone back from getting off the bench, should be fired. Like, the Pistons one should be fired, too, because there's no way that you allow Killian to then get up and do what he did. Someone should have stopped him because now he's going to miss some games. So it is what it is, though, Mo. Let me know what you guys think about it. I know a lot of you guys are going to absolutely love it. I know it. I know you guys are going to love it. And I get it, man. Trust me. I get it. Part of me gets it. But the logical person, man, it's just like, dude, you can't do it. You're playing so well. You can't take yourself out of games. And he's 100% going to be out of games now. So just let me know what you guys think about that. in the comment section down below or over on Twitter at Kuka Hill. When we come back, now we can get into what we actually saw in the game and some of the good stuff that happened throughout this game. The Pistons' convincing win against their Orlando Magic. We'll talk about that when we come back. But first, I got to tell you guys about one of our sponsors, Rocket Money. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, helps you lower your bills, all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about, like that streaming service you bought to watch just one movie on, or that free trial that you never even use, or like me, when you go around, you get multiple gym memberships and just get too lazy to cancel them. Rocket Money will quickly and easily identify your subscriptions for you, so you can stop paying for the ones that you don't want. Rocket Money makes canceling subscriptions as easy as a click of a button. Simply find the subscription you don't want to pay for and press cancel, and Rocket Money will cancel it for you. No long holdout times with customer service or tedious emailing back and forth. Over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average person over $720 a year. Stop throwing your money away. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/LockedOnNBA. That's rocketmoney.com/LockedOnNBA. Again, rocketmoney.com/LockedOnNBA to stop throwing your money away and cancel unwanted subscriptions. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons, hit that subscribe button, or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you are listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. So look, the ejections and the scuffle, what it actually was not brawl, it was not fight, a scuffle that happened in that second quarter. 100% is going to be what everyone talks about. It's going to cloud the performance that the Detroit Pistons had. 100% is, and it sucks that it's going to be that way. I think this might have been one of the best games the Pistons played all year. The first half was incredible. It was absolutely incredible what they did in the first half. I loved their focus. I loved how they came out with a clear mission and focus that, look, we're going to get back. We're going to come out here and get back what we lost in LA against the Clippers. We're going to get that back. And it wasn't in LA, actually. It was in Detroit. But you guys know what I'm saying. Against the Los Angeles Clippers, we're going to come out and avenge that. And they did that. They outscored Orlando 27-23 in the first and then 39-24 in the second quarter. They played really hard, and I thought they played really good defense in the first half. And I thought they even played good defense really throughout the entire game. The third quarter, they allowed 30 points, but outside that, it was 23, 24, 24. I thought they played an incredible game for majority of this game. It wasn't perfect throughout the entire game, but I thought it was a really damn good game by this team. And again, based off what happened with the Clippers game, what happened at the end of that game, I talked about on the podcast. I was a little bit worried. I was a little bit worried that, I talked about on the podcast that this may shatter some guys, shatter some guys' confidence. Because you've seen it in multiple sports, multiple games in the NBA. You've seen it before where a loss like that can shatter dudes' confidence. Sometimes they bounce back, and sometimes they also get their confidence shattered. And I was worried about which way the Pistons would go. But they very clearly, from the get-go, it motivated them. They wanted to come out and avenge this loss. And my God, they did. The bench played exceptional, but there's one thing I want to point out off the top. It's not Alec Burks, who we'll talk about in a minute. It's not scoring. Sadiq Bey, he had a good scoring night, really good scoring night, but that's not what I'll go with first. I think by far, this was Sadiq's best defensive game of the year. By far. Maybe it's one of the better defensive games I've seen in his career. Now, am I calling Sadiq some elite defender? No. Am I calling him a good defender now? No. That's not what I'm doing. But in this game was the most focused I've seen him on the defensive end, the most I've seen him give on the defensive end, and the best he's played. He was a big part of why Paolo Banchero struggled the way he did. And maybe it's a good matchup for him because Paolo isn't overly fast. He's pretty explosive when he jumps off 2 feet. So yeah, he can be explosive in that manner, but he's not like the most explosive athlete, like speeding by you or anything. And he tries to play physical. He tries to, outpower you. And he's usually able to do that with just about everybody. Paolo's a freak. But Sadiq's pretty damn strong himself. So Sadiq was playing really strong with them, playing really physical with them. And Paolo ended this game 4 of 12 from the field, 15 points. He did draw 8 free throws, which, by the way, he's averaging 8 free throw attempts a game. I was told today that Paolo has attempted, or not just attempted, he has made more free throws so far this year than Cade even attempted all last year, which is just bonkers to think about. That's crazy. But yeah, either way, going back to the topic, I don't want to get off script here. But yeah, Sadiq had his best defensive game of the year, easily. And I want to give him a ton of credit for that, because that right there is his biggest weak spot. Not, the outside shooting needs to come back to where it was, but defensively is his biggest red flag. So the fact that he played so well defensively tonight, I definitely want to give him a lot of credit for that. But moving past that, the bench was phenomenal. Sadiq Bey had 28 points. Alec Burks had 32 points. And yes, someone who I've been extremely critical of, someone I'm not a big fan of, played a really good game too in Hamidou Diallo. By far, Diallo's best game of the year. One of the better games I've seen him play over the past 2 years. He had 11 points. I know he had those games during COVID, but those games don't really matter to me because they're not. It was just so crazy circumstances where he's never going to be able to get to do those. He's not going to get the ball in his hands every single possession to shoot 40 times. Like, that's not going to happen ever. So within like actual game circumstances, playing his role, I thought this was one of the better games I've seen Diallo play. He was cutting to the basket, making smart cuts. He made a few passes that were some of the best passes I've ever seen him make. The dump off he made off a cut to Jalen Duren was easily the best pass I've ever seen him make. He made some good defensive stops. And again, he even hit a three. He even hit a corner three. And again, his cuts were, sometimes Diallo's cuts are just so chaotic and crazy that nothing really results out of them. No, tonight they were really precise and well thought out and well timed and resulted in buckets for the Pistons. He played a really nice game before he got ejected. And I also want to give him a ton of props for being the only Piston who defended Killian Hayes getting shoved damn near out of bounds like Steve Nash did in the playoffs back in, I believe, 2007. I appreciate that Diallo was literally the only Piston who tried to come to his defense and stand up for his guy. So overall, Diallo played a really good game in his 13 minutes. Wanted to give him a ton of credit for that, man. It looks like he had taken Kevin Knox's minutes so far. I don't know. Kevin Knox is probably going to get some minutes now with Killian Hayes and maybe even Diallo getting suspended. I don't know if Diallo will get suspended, but if he does, Knox is going to get some minutes back. But it looked like, had not been for the suspension or the ejections, Diallo had knocked Knox out of the rotation for the time being, unless they try to find a way to play both of them. Either way, Diallo played a really good game. Sadiq, again, defensively was great, but him and Alec Burks both combined for 60 points. 60 points between the two. Sadiq was 8 of 16 from the field, 6 of 11 from deep. He got to the free throw line 8 times. He had 8 rebounds, 4 assists. One of the best games, possibly the best game of Sadiq's season this year. Overall, well-rounded game. Defensively, he was active on the glass. He hustled. He was playing hard. He made some really nice passes, some good decisions. I love this game from Sadiq. This was like the player that, this one game is the kind of player that a lot of people envisioned he would become after his rookie season. So, look, I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think it's cool even of fans to think that this should be sustainable for Sadiq to try to hold him to this standard, because I just don't know if he's there yet. It wouldn't be fair. But to be able to see these flashes in games every now and then, it's good to see. Hopefully these flashes become a little bit more consistent, and there's reason to believe that, okay, Sadiq can get back somewhat to where he was his rookie year, at least from outside, and hopefully we see a little bit more consistently. Now, I think it has to depend on matchups, and again, he's going to be as focused, but defensively, hopefully we see more of this. He's not going to be as good as he is tonight because, again, matchup-wise, but his focus on that end and how physical he played and how active he was on the glass, he can do that every night if he really wants to. If he put his mind to it, he could do that. And it would be a big change in his game and be a big added plus for him. So I really loved what I saw from Sadiq. And then, of course, Alec Burks, man. Alec Burks was 10 of 10 at one point. He had 30 points, or 32 points, I should say. 4 assists with that. Again, he was 10 of 10 until the 28-second mark. This dude, sorry for knocking my mic right there. This dude shoots a 3. And listen, if it was me, once I got the 10 out of 10 and it was like 28 seconds left, you would be damned if you see me shoot anything but a wide open layup. I'm making sure I'm keeping that 100%. It ain't happening to me. I ain't losing that 100% with 30 points. But this man, Alec Burks, pulls up for 3 and airballed his only miss of the night. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he actually shot it. He was 100% with 32 points, guys. And he shot a pull-up three with 28 seconds left and airballed. Ruined his 100%. I don't know the stat. I have to assume there's not many people that shot 100% with 30 points. I can't assume that there's many. I don't even know if there ever has been. Like, I don't know. But the fact that he ruined any chance of even being mentioned in that was insane. I can't believe Alec Burks shot that shot. That's crazy. But he was a big reason why the Pistons were able to hold on to win this game. I got a little bit worried coming out of halftime what they would be like without Diallo, without Killian Hayes, running the offense. But Burks came out and absolutely was on a burner and hit multiple threes to answer multiple Magic's run. Magic's tried to give a couple runs to the Pistons, but Alec Burks was just there to answer with a pull-up three, and one shot, pull-up midi, post fadeaway. Like, he was answering every run, and he was a big-time reason why the Pistons were able to pull this game out. Love seeing what I saw from him. He's playing fantastic basketball. Really, really good basketball. So when we come back, we'll talk about some of the other things that we saw throughout this game. But first, I got to tell you guys about another one of our sponsors. Actually, this one's going to be a message from the NHTSA. You're hanging out with some friends and putting back a few drinks. A few becomes a few too many. As the evening comes to an end and people start to head out, you think of calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. You can make it home okay. It's no big deal. Where are the odds you'll get pulled over anyway? And even so, what's the worst that could possibly happen? Your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you lose your job, you total your car, or you could possibly kill someone. Everyone knows about the risk of driving drunk. The results are tragic and often deadly. However, that still doesn't stop everyone from getting behind the wheel when under the influence. That's why police officers are out there right now looking for impaired drivers on our roads to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Play it safe and plan ahead to get a ride. It only takes one mistake to change your life or someone else's forever. Drive sober or get pulled over. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button at the YouTube channel if you haven't already, or leave us a 5-star review at whatever podcast platform you are listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. So I thought this, again, like I said earlier, I thought this was one of the best games the Pistons had played all year, especially defensively. I know they allowed over 100 points, but I really thought they did a good job defensively throughout this night. Banchero was 4 of 12. Franz Wagner, he was 7-15, but it really didn't feel like, it didn't really feel like it. He was really like a non-factor. He was not really noticed at all, at least to me. It was probably the quietest 19 points you'll ever see. Markelle Fultz, who I'm a fan of, and he had been playing pretty well for the Magic. He was 2 of 12 from the field. And Bobo didn't go off. Bobo had a hot start, but I think he scored 1 bucket after the first quarter. Actually, it might have been just a free throw after the first quarter. I believe he had 10 in the opening quarter, and he finished with 11. So I thought the Pistons really, really did a good job defensively. And I was honestly scared for this matchup defensively for the Pistons because the Magic have such big wings, and the Pistons don't have any wings that can play defense. But Sadiq showed up and played his ass off defensively. I'm like, for real, the Magic have 4 guys in their starting lineup today that were over 6'10". I really was scared about this defensive matchup, but the Pistons brought it. You could tell that the Clippers loss really, motivated them to come out and give it their absolute all against this Orlando Magic team, who was also on the second of a back-to-back. So maybe that probably played a lot into it too. Orlando got caught in the crossfires of a back-to-back, and also the Pistons wanting revenge for how they finished the last game. But overall, you have to be happy with how the Pistons performed, no matter the circumstances for either team. I thought they played absolutely excellent. I loved it. I loved what I saw from the Pistons. And this is a game, again, that was dominated by the Detroit Pistons bench. The Pistons only had 2 starters scoring double figures, and both of them shot 28% and 33%. Jaden Ivey was 1 of 7 with 8 points and 3 turnovers. Killian Hayes only played 15 points. He was 1 of 4 from deep with 2 free throws. He had 5 points. This was a game that was being completely dominated by the Detroit Pistons bench. They had 76 points off the bench. 76 points. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And they didn't do it in like running fast break or being fast. I mean, the Pistons only had 3 fast break points. This was just a surgical session by the Pistons bench in the half court. This completely dominated the Orlando Magic bench. And, I love seeing it, man. So the Pistons are back in action on Friday against the Chicago Bulls. I don't know who they're going to be with. I know Bagley has missed the last 2 games with a non-COVID illness. Killian Hayes 100% is getting suspended at least for the Bulls game. Diallo might get suspended. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I didn't get a great look at what it is that Diallo exactly did. I saw they pushed him, but I when he got ejected, I didn't really get why he was ejected. I didn't really, everyone was focused on Wagner and Killian, so I didn't really see what Diallo did. But I had a lot of you guys tweeting at me saying, "Look, man, what Diallo did might have been worse than Killian Hayes." So I'm sitting here like, "Whoa, I must have missed something." So I gotta go back and rewatch it again. But I don't know if Diallo's going to be suspended. But if he is, the Pistons will be without Kate Cunningham, Marvin Bagley, Killian Hayes, Hamidou Diallo, Isaiah Livers. That's 5 guys from their rotation not being able to play. So it's going to be interesting to see how the hell they handle that rotation if all those guys indeed will be out again. Obviously, Cade will be out, but like if they're without all the other guys as well, I think Livers also is out for at least another week. If those added 3 guys, Bagley, Killian, and Diallo, without those guys, I wonder what the rotation is going to look like and what they do. It's going to be tough for the Pistons, but that's all I've got for you guys today, man. I'm going to be interested to see. I got the Woj notifications on. I got the Shams notifications on. I can't wait to see, what the suspension, looks like for these guys. I'm really going to be mad if Killian gets more than 2 games. Based on how they've suspended some of the other guys, this was nowhere near as bad as some of the other stuff. It wasn't a fight. It wasn't a brawl. It was a scruffle. It was a reaction to someone doing a dirty play to them, and it ended right there. It wasn't like some big drawn out thing like Stu and LeBron. It wasn't like the big drawn out thing with Denver and I believe it was Miami when Jokic basically ended Morris's season. Like I don't think it was honestly. Look, the video makes it look worse than it was. I'll be honest for those who weren't watching the game. But really, I don't think it was this big of a deal. People, I feel like, are boosting it a lot. And if those other guys didn't get more than 2 games, if Ibaka didn't get more than 2 games for choking and punching somebody, there's no way I can see Killian getting more than 2 games. But we'll see what happens. I'll see you guys in the next podcast. Great Pistons win, one of their best wins of the year. Thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Free and available on all your podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel. 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. And until next time, man, I'll see you guys later. Obviously, we'll have an update with the suspensions. But until then, stay safe, everybody. Go Pistons, and peace out.